Alex had always thought space stations were just empty metal shells drifting through the stars. He liked machines, wires, and circuits, and he was good at fixing them. But nothing in his training had prepared him for meeting someone like Lyra. He was checking the maintenance corridors on the far side of the station, a part usually left to automated drones. The hum of the station's engines and the occasional clank of loose panels were the only sounds, until a strange squeaking noise echoed down the hall. Alex frowned. It didn't sound like machinery. Curious, he followed the sound, his boots clanging on the metal floor. Peeking around a corner, he froze. There, struggling in the middle of the corridor, was a small alien figure drenched in water. Her skin shimmered with wet iridescence, like liquid pearls reflecting the station lights. She was humanoid in shape but smaller than any human, her limbs slender and delicate. Water dripped from her, pooling on the floor beneath her. Are you okay?" Alex asked cautiously, stepping closer. The alien looked up at him with wide, nervous eyes. I need help," she said in a soft, musical voice. Her words carried a faint accent, unusual but clear. "The cleaning system, it malfunctioned. I cannot dry myself alone." Alex blinked, surprised. This was not a robot or an automated system. She was alive, vulnerable, and clearly distressed. "Okay," he said, taking a step closer, careful not to startle her. "Don't worry, I'll help you." The alien, who now he could see was wearing a tight-fitting uniform that identified her as a station maid, nodded quickly. "Thank you, human. I am Lyra." Alex glanced around. The corridor was wet, and the cleaning system overhead was still spraying bursts of water in short, random intervals. "All right, let's get you out of the spray first," he said, moving carefully toward her. Lyra tried to move but slipped slightly on the wet floor. Alex caught her just in time. "Easy," he said, steadying her. "We'll take it slow." As he helped her stand, Alex noticed more about her. Her skin wasn't like anything he had ever seen. It seemed soft, almost translucent, and the colors shifted slightly with each movement. Her hair, or what he assumed was hair, clung to her head and shoulders in wet strands that glowed faintly. She had delicate fingers and toes, tipped with small suction pads that helped her move on slippery surfaces. Lyra shivered. "I cannot remain wet long. My body will weaken." Alex's brow furrowed. "We need to dry you quickly then." He retrieved a large maintenance cloth from a nearby shelf. It was meant for machinery, but it would do. Carefully, he began patting her dry. Lyra flinched at first, unused to human touch, but quickly relaxed when she realized he was gentle. "You are careful," she said softly. "Many humans would not notice." Alex smiled. "I notice problems and I fix them. That's my job." He worked steadily, making sure to avoid any sensitive parts of her body. As he wiped the water from her arms, he noticed that her uniform was torn in places, likely from the malfunctioning system. "Looks like your suit got damaged. We'll need to repair it too." Lyra's eyes widened slightly. "Yes, please, I cannot repair it myself. My duties demand me fully prepared. I cannot fail." Alex nodded. "Don't worry, we'll fix it. First, let's get you dry." The process took several minutes, during which Alex learned more about her. Lyra explained that her kind were designed to serve in complex roles on stations like this one. They were extremely loyal, precise, and efficient, but their biology made them sensitive to environmental extremes. Water could be harmless to humans, but for her species, prolonged exposure could cause serious health problems. Alex listened carefully, fascinated. He had worked around alien machines and drones before, but never with a living alien whose biology was so different. He had always assumed the station's staff were robotic, but Lyra proved him wrong. Once she was mostly dry, Alex turned his attention to the cleaning system. The device overhead had several broken pipes and short circuits. "Looks like you got caught in a high-pressure spray," he said, examining the damage. "I can patch it for now, but you'll need a full repair later." Lyra nodded, her large eyes reflecting relief. "I trust you, human. Thank you for helping me." Alex smiled, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. He had always enjoyed helping others, but there was something different about this. Lyra's gratitude felt sincere, almost personal. "It's nothing," he said, though he meant more than he could explain. "I just do what I can." As he worked on the system, Lyra hovered nearby, watching him carefully. She asked questions about human tools, showing a keen interest in how they worked. Alex explained as best he could, using simple terms. Her curiosity was refreshing. She wasn't just a servant following orders. She had her own thoughts, her own intelligence, and a desire to understand. "You humans are interesting," she said finally. "You improvise, you adapt. My people, we are trained to follow procedures. We do not always think beyond instructions." Alex chuckled. "Sometimes improvisation is the only way to survive. Trust me, I've learned that more times than I can count." By the time the cleaning system was patched and safe to stop spraying, Lyra was fully recovered. Her wet skin had dried and her uniform, while still damaged, was no longer soaked. She stepped back and observed Alex carefully. "You helped me, even when you did not know me," she said. "Most humans would not. I respect that." Alex shrugged modestly. "I don't think about it that way. I just fix problems, but thanks." Lyra tilted her head slightly, a gesture Alex assumed was similar to a human smile. "Perhaps we can work together more. I see potential in you, human, not just for repair but for understanding." "You see me as more than my duties." Alex blinked, surprised. "Well, I try to see people for who they are, not just what they do. Everyone has more to them than their job title." The two stood quietly for a moment, listening to the hum of the station and the occasional drip of water from the damaged system. There was an unspoken bond forming, born from trust and cooperation. Alex realized that in this vast, impersonal station, this small connection mattered more than anything else. Lyra finally spoke again. "I must complete my duties, but perhaps, with your assistance, I can do them better, and you may learn things about my world." "Will you accompany me?" Alex considered for a moment. His job had always been solitary, but something about Lyra's request felt different. He could say no, return to his routine, and never see this alien again. Or he could accept and perhaps learn something new, not just about alien machines, but about alien life itself. "I'll go with you," he said finally. "Show me what you do, and I'll help where I can." Lyra's expression brightened, and for a moment Alex saw something human in her eyes: pride, excitement, and hope. "Then we begin. Follow me." As they moved deeper into the station, Lyra explained the various areas she maintained. There were hydroponic gardens where alien plants glowed faintly in shades of purple and green, and corridors filled with strange devices that hummed and pulsed with energy. Alex marveled at the complexity of it all. "This is amazing," he said, watching Lyra demonstrate the operation of a cleaning drone. "I never imagined life could be so different from what we have on Earth." Lyra tilted her head. "Our lives are structured. We serve, we maintain, but we also adapt. Sometimes, when humans are here, we learn more than just duty. We learn courage, creativity, friendship." Alex smiled. He had always thought humans were exceptional in some ways, but he realized now that aliens could also surprise him. Lyra was proof that life, no matter where it came from, was capable of intelligence, loyalty, and kindness. As they walked, Alex noticed how carefully Lyra moved through the corridors, avoiding hazards and adjusting to the station's gravity. Her physiology made her incredibly agile, able to navigate tight spaces and slippery surfaces with ease. She wasn't just a maid. She was a skilled operator, trained to handle emergencies and complex systems alike. "You're really good at this," Alex said. "Have you ever thought about doing something else? Exploring, maybe?" Lyra paused. "Exploration is limited for my kind. We are trained to serve, to maintain, but I enjoy learning from those who explore. You human, you are an explorer in your own way. You fix, you adapt, you understand. I admire that." Alex felt a strange sense of pride. It wasn't just about skill or achievement, it was about recognition, from a being so different, so alien, yet capable of seeing him clearly. By the time they returned to the main corridors, Alex realized that the day had passed quickly. He had come expecting routine maintenance, but instead, he had met someone extraordinary. Lyra had shown him not just her world, but her trust, her curiosity, and her courage. As they parted ways for the evening, Lyra turned to him. "Tomorrow we continue. There is more to show, more to repair, and perhaps more to learn. Will you come?" Alex smiled. "I'll be there." For the first time in a long while, he felt that the station was not just a place to work. It was a place to experience, to connect, and maybe to make a difference. And as he returned to his quarters that night, Alex knew one thing for certain. Meeting Lyra had changed everything. The next day, Alex woke to the soft hum of the station's engines and the distant clatter of maintenance drones. He dressed quickly and made his way to the corridors where Lyra had been waiting the previous evening. She was already there, her wet hair neatly dried, her uniform spotless, and her posture alert. She greeted him with a small nod, and Alex felt a strange comfort in seeing her. "Good morning, human," she said in her melodic voice. "Today there is much to see, much to maintain. Follow me." Alex nodded, trying not to be too obvious in his excitement. He had no idea what lay ahead, but he knew it would be something different, something remarkable. Lyra led him through corridors he had never walked before. The walls were lined with glowing panels, each pulsing with energy, and pipes carried fluids of bright colors, essential for the station's life support and agricultural systems. Alex marveled at the alien technology, making mental notes of what he could understand and what he would have to learn from her. "Here," Lyra said, stopping at a large glass chamber, "are the hydroponic gardens. These plants provide food and oxygen for the station. They require careful monitoring." Alex stepped closer, fascinated by the plants. They seemed almost alive, responding to light and water in ways he had never seen. Some had tendrils that moved slowly, reaching toward small robotic arms that trimmed and nourished them. He realized that every part of the station had its own ecosystem, carefully balanced and monitored. Lyra guided him through the gardens, showing him how to check the nutrient levels, adjust the light cycles, and monitor the growth of the plants. Alex listened intently, asking questions where he could. He was learning more about alien biology in an hour than he had in years of human textbooks. "You humans, you are curious," Lyra said, watching him carefully. "It is admirable," Alex smiled. "Curiosity keeps us alive. We notice things, we adapt. It's how we survive." Lyra nodded thoughtfully, as if considering the idea. Then, without warning, alarms blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed, and the hum of the engines became louder and more erratic. Alex instinctively reached for his toolkit while Lyra's eyes widened with alarm. "Flood! Hazardous fluid breach in Sector 7, she shouted. "We must stop it immediately." Alex's heart raced. He had faced emergencies before, but never on this scale. He glanced at Lyra. "Show me." She led him through twisting corridors to a large chamber filled with pipes carrying a glowing green fluid. Some of the pipes were leaking, spraying the fluid onto the floor. Alex could feel the heat radiating from the fluid. It wasn't water. It was dangerous. "Step back," Lyra warned. "This is corrosive. It will harm humans if you touch it for long." Alex nodded, scanning the pipes. His mind worked quickly, calculating how to stop the leaks and prevent a full system failure. "We need to reroute the flow," he said. "Some valves here, and here. If we close them and redirect the pressure, we can contain it." Lyra's eyes lit up. "I will control the main panel remotely. You handle the valves. Together, we can stop it." Alex got to work immediately, twisting valves and adjusting levers with careful precision. The fluid hissed and sprayed as pressure built in the system. He could hear Lyra's voice over the intercom, giving instructions and warnings. Her calm, precise commands helped him stay focused, even as the situation grew more dangerous. At one point, a large pipe cracked, sending a jet of green fluid toward him. Alex jumped aside, narrowly avoiding the corrosive spray. Lyra called out quickly, guiding him to safety and instructing him on the correct procedure to relieve the pressure. Quickly, human. Now. He worked faster, adjusting the final valve just in time. The pressure dropped, the leaking stopped, and the alarm silenced. Alex wiped sweat from his brow, breathing heavily. He turned to see Lyra standing calmly, her posture unchanged despite the chaos. "You did well," she said softly. "We saved the system together. I am grateful." Alex exhaled, finally allowing himself a small smile. "We make a good team. You're incredible at this." Lyra tilted her head, a gesture Alex had learned indicated approval or pride. "You are clever, human. Your thinking is different. You improvise, you adapt. I respect that." For a moment, they simply stood in the chamber, taking in the calm after the storm. Alex realized how much he had learned from her in such a short time, her knowledge, her precision, and her courage under pressure. And Lyra, he knew, had seen more than just a human working the valves. She had seen someone who could think, who could act, who could make a difference. The day continued with more tasks, each requiring both skill and careful coordination. They repaired minor leaks, recalibrated monitoring systems, and restored power to sections of the station affected by the earlier emergency. Each success built their trust, and each challenge brought them closer as a team. During a brief break, Alex asked, "Lyra, why do you do all this? The cleaning, the monitoring, the work that keeps the station running." She considered his question carefully. "Because it is my duty, but there is more. I find satisfaction in helping, in keeping this place alive, and I learn from humans, from experience. Life is not only maintenance. Life is growth, understanding, connection." Alex nodded thoughtfully. "I understand that. That's why I fix things, help people explore new worlds. It's not just a job, it's a way to make a difference." Lyra's eyes seemed to glow faintly, as if reflecting the sincerity in his words. "Then we are alike. Different species, similar purpose. Perhaps that is why we work well together." The next challenge came in the evening. A minor explosion had damaged one of the station's energy conduits. Sparks flew, and a section of the corridor became unstable. Alex could see molten metal dripping from the exposed wires. Lyra's quick assessment of the situation saved him from stepping into a dangerous area. "Careful, that section is unstable," she shouted, pointing to a spot on the floor. Alex nodded, moving with caution. "All right, let's stabilize it before it spreads." They worked together, Alex using human tools and techniques to reroute power and patch the damaged conduit, while Lyra guided him with her precise knowledge of the alien systems. Sparks flew, metal hissed, and the corridor smelled of hot metal and ozone, but together they managed to contain the damage. As the final repair was completed, they both stepped back, exhausted but triumphant. The station lights returned to normal and the hum of the engines became steady again. "You did well, human," Lyra said quietly. "Not just in repair, in courage. You adapt to danger calmly, decisively. I am impressed." Alex smiled, feeling an unfamiliar pride. "We both did well. You kept me safe, guided me. I couldn't have done it alone." Lyra's eyes softened. "Then perhaps we are more than repairer and maid. We are partners in work and understanding." Alex felt a warmth in his chest at her words. They were not romantic, but there was a bond, one of trust, respect, and shared experience. In the vast emptiness of the station, among alien machinery and unpredictable dangers, they had found a connection. As the night fell, Alex walked with Lyra to the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly across the sky, distant suns twinkling like diamonds on black velvet. He leaned on the railing, watching the planets drift by, and realized how small the station seemed in comparison to the galaxy. "Beautiful," he said quietly. Lyra joined him, standing beside him. Yes, it is, but even small places have meaning. Even here, we make a difference. We maintain life, safety, order, and we learn from each other. Alex nodded. Yeah, and I think I've learned a lot today, more than I expected. Lyra tilted her head, her expression unreadable for a moment, then she spoke softly. And I have learned as well that humans can be trusted, and that, even in service, there is honor, courage, and intelligence worth noticing. Alex turned to her, smiling. I think we make a good team, Lyra, not just fixing machines, but everything else. For the first time since he had arrived on the station, Alex felt a sense of belonging. The galaxy was vast, the dangers endless, but with someone like Lyra by his side, he realized that challenges were not something to fear, they were opportunities. Opportunities to learn, to grow, and to make a difference. Lyra glanced at him and smiled faintly, a gesture that Alex had come to recognize as genuine approval. Then, we continue tomorrow. More work, more learning, more understanding. Alex nodded, looking out at the stars again. I wouldn't have it any other way. The two stood side by side, watching the galaxy drift by, knowing that no matter what the future held, they would face it together. Not as human and alien, not as repairer and maid, but as partners, bound by trust, respect, and the shared knowledge that courage and intelligence could overcome even the most dangerous challenges. And in that quiet moment, amid the hum of the station and the glow of distant worlds, Alex realized that this small alien station had become something more than a workplace. It had become a place of friendship, learning, and discovery. A place where he could make a difference, and perhaps where he could truly belong. As the night deepened, Alex and Lyra returned to the maintenance corridors, ready for whatever challenges awaited them next. They had proven today that together, human ingenuity and alien skill could prevent disaster, protect life, and create understanding. And as the station continued to drift silently through the stars, Alex knew that this was only the beginning. There would be more emergencies, more puzzles, more moments that required courage and intelligence. But with Lyra at his side, he was ready for all of it. Because sometimes, survival was about more than quick thinking or technical skill. It was about trust, respect, and the bonds formed between beings, no matter how different they seemed. And in the end, that bond was stronger than any machine, any storm, or any danger that the galaxy could throw at them.